going on, guys? FullFrontage Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys some pretty exciting news on the upcoming Clash Royale balance changes. If you guys haven't seen the forum post already, I'll put the link down to that in the description below. But we have some huge balance changes coming in just what's today? I'm recording this on the date of the 22nd, so in 2 days this is going to be pretty critical. And if you guys have seen, I've been involved with Clan Royale League. This is going to make a huge change to the upcoming playoffs in Clan Royale League. So what we're going to be talking about here is, you asked for it, it's finally been received. The Royal Giant is getting a nerf. So right now his attack speed is 1.5. That's going to go up to 1.7. But his DPS is going down by 12%. So if we take out the calculator that every standard smartphone comes with, and we times this by 0.12, he's losing a 16.8, but basically 17% damage per second, and that's a pretty big difference. That adds up over 5 hits. That's almost 100. Yeah, because 5 times 20 is 100. So that's gonna do it. Hopefully, that'll make us stop seeing the Royal Giant used as much at the top, and everyone can stop complaining about it. The zap, its stun duration is 1 second. That's going down to 0.5. That's going to be huge. Because really, I've seen battles that come down to under 0.5 seconds difference, and that's going to make a crucial difference with the zap spell. So the zap spell is getting a little bit of a nerf. It's going to be interesting to see if it's still popular and still viable, because it does have that quick stun that can be used. Even if it is for a split second, then it could be the difference between a mini P.E.K.K.A hitting a Hog Rider and the Hog Rider getting that final swing off on the tower. So it could still be as critical as it was before, but the stun is not going to last as long. The P.E.K.K.A damage is now increased by 5%. The P.E.K.K.A hasn't been shown any love, so his damage is going to go up. His damage is 708. 5% of that is, let's pull out the calculator again, 708 times 0.05. That's 35 damage. So at level 5, the P.E.K.K.A's damage is going to be almost 750, which is pretty crazy. That definitely takes down a lot of things in one hit. It might even take down Barbarians at even level now. I'm not sure. Let's see if it's going to be almost 750. Nope, just barely. Barbarians will still live. At tournament standard, it'll still one-shot them. The Princess area damage is now decreased by 25%. That's going to be crazy. So if you drop a Princess that's like this far away from the tower, it might not reach the tower anymore. Because I know, like, there are certain points where people drop troops kind of offset and they would still just barely hit the tower. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. So if you're dropping troops in the wrong place, now they're going to be in the right place in 2 days. The Ice Wizard, his hit points is getting decreased by 5%, which is pretty big. I always thought the Ice Wizard was a little bit too tanky, in my opinion. That 5% decrease is going to be 39 hit points, which is going to be that could make a difference between a swing at the end that takes down an Ice Wizard. Now, the Miner. Now, we know we did have the secret buff with the Miner. If you didn't see that video, check out my Clash Royale playlist down in the description. I did a video on that. It was an accidental thing. It just kind of happened. Like, they were programming something and it got bugged, and the Miner deploy time went from 1 second to 0.7 seconds. So now it's back up to 1 second. And then its HP is now going to be decreased. Right there, you can see the deploy time. I didn't have it up before. But its hit points are going to be decreased by 6%. Thank God. At level 2, this thing has 1166 hit points. That is way too tanky for something you can put anywhere on the map. That has been my biggest problem with the Miner. And if you guys have been watching CRL, the Miner has been banned in almost every battle. And then when it's used, it's just crazy. It's way too tanky to be put anywhere on the map. So I'm really glad this nerf is happening. And let's see, at level 2, it's going to be decreased by 70 health. Still not enough in my opinion. It should be below 1,000, or roughly around about 1,000, maybe between 1,000 and 1,050, but still 1090 I mean, one swing can make a difference. So, the baby dragon. This is awesome. Baby dragon is rarely seen at the top. You see it in Arena 2, and then from that, it's just completely non-existent. But its attack speed is going to be increased. So it has an attack speed of 1.8 now. It's going to go down to 1.6, which means it's going to attack faster. And then its DPS is going to increase by 14%. It's already 81 DPS, so if we pull out the handy dandy calculator, it's going to go up to about 93 damage per second, which is going to be pretty good. Again, over the course of 5 hits, that's going to add up. That's going to be like 55, 60 damage more than I could have done before. That's almost a full attack. So that's going to be awesome. Now the Dark Prince is getting a buff again. First they decreased his charge speed, then they increased his hit points, I believe, and now they're going to increase his damage by 6%. No, 7.5. They're going to increase it by 7.5. His overall damage, not damage per second. So his area damage is 197. So that's going to be times 0.075. That's going to be 15 extra damage. So at level 5, it's going to do over 200 damage per swing on its area damage, which is pretty insane. So that's definitely going to make the Dark Prince a bit more viable. Now the next one we have, let's go over to the other deck, is the Bowler. He is no longer going to be 6 elixir. He's going to go down to 5 elixir. The Bowler is already pretty undervalued, at my opinion, but because they're decreasing the cost, they realize that the Bowler is still viable, but not a lot of people use him because he is 6 elixir. So they balanced his elixir cost with his HP and damage decrease. They decreased his hit points by 7%, and at level 5 it has almost 1900 at 1898, and then times that by the 7% they're decreasing it by, it's going to be about 133. So it's going to go down to roughly around 1775, somewhere around there, 1770. And his damage is going to be decreased by 10%. So that's going to be 29 damage off. Again, this is all my level cards, so it's going to be different for every level. But yeah, so it's going to be about roughly 260 around that for the Bowler's damage at level 5. The next one we have is the Lumberjack. The Lumberjack is pretty much very underused. He has a rage effect. When he drops a rage, it lasts 8 seconds with a radius of 5 tiles on either side. So his move speed increased to very fast. It's already fast. And his attack speed is going to be increased to 0.7 seconds. It's 1.1 now. It's going to be increased to 0.7. But its damage decrease is going to go down by 23%. So it does 260 right now. And honestly, 23% is a big hit. That's 60 damage. So it's going to do 200 at level 1 instead of 260. But it's going to move faster and it's going to attack faster. So I think the attack speed and the damage decrease might balance it out. So it might end up being the same, but who knows. So the log. The time that it takes to deploy the log is going to be decreased by 66%, which means it's going to come down 2/3 faster than it did before, which is going to be pretty crazy. And then its travel speed is going to increase by 20%, which means it's going to go faster, so troops don't have more of a chance to escape from it. I feel like I know sometimes when I drop the log, if I don't drop it, like if I drop it just a fraction of a second too late, it just rolls over like a couple goblins. But with this, that's not going to happen anymore. It's going to come down right away, and I think that's honestly going to be better because it is a spell. It's supposed to be direct. It's supposed unless it travels through the air, like the zap, it just drops exactly where you want it to. So now this is honestly probably the most interesting buff of the balance changes that are coming. The Golem attack and death damage is going to be increased by 5%. That is crazy. So it's 271 right now, and with the 5% increase, it's going to go up to about 285. and at level 5. And this is already pretty powerful. The Golem's a pretty powerful unit, so this is honestly shocking. And its hit points are going up by 1%, but at 1% at 45.99, that's 45 damage, or 45 extra hit points. That's going to be crazy. So it's going to have over 4,600 at level 5. Its attack damage and death damage is going to be increased. It's already tanky. And then the Golemites, what are we looking at? So their hit points are 919. Their hit points are going to be increased by 3.2%. So at 919, level 5, plus that's going to be an extra 30 hit points for that. So it's going to be up to almost 250, or 950 on that. And its death damage and attack damage is going to be increased by 8% at 54. And that's going to be another 5% attack damage, which is still pretty critical. Again, it all adds up over time, especially the death damage on the Golem. That's crazy. And the Tombstone, its spawn time is going to 2.5 seconds. It's going to spawn in skeletons faster. The Prince attack damage is going to be increased by 2%, which is probably around like 27-ish. Not really. Hold on. Times 7. So it's going to go up by 7. That's not as effective, but it's still pretty effective. And then the archers, we found out, I think it was with the goblins, at even level, they don't take them down. At like level 11 and 13, they don't take them down in one shot at even level. And so they're going to increase the damage by 2% to contemplate for that. So now archers will be able to take down goblins in one hit. That means we might be seeing more archers in decks rather than people using the zap spell just to take down goblins. Might see archers because the last buff the archers got, they had the same attack speed as some spear goblins. So pretty interesting balance changes coming, and it's going to be really effective, especially I think the top 3 changes. Actually, I have to go top 5 because the 3 legendaries, the triple legendary deck, Princess, Ice Wizard, Miner, that's getting a massive nerf. Just the Princess radius going down, the Ice Wizard hit points going down, the Miner hit points and deploy time going down as well, when the deploy time's going back up. But my favorite ones are probably the Bowler, the Baby Dragon, and the Zap. I think the Zap losing a 0.5 is going to make for much more intense matches. I think the Baby Dragon getting a little buff is going to make the Baby Dragon appear more. I know I'm going to try to use it, incorporate it into a deck, and then we'll also be seeing the Bowler getting decreased. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. So this is the deck I've been just playing around with, screwing around with it, and it actually works pretty well. So we'll do one battle with this, and then we'll call it an episode. But the balance changes, they're going to be interesting. It's probably going to completely change the meta. I know the Royal Giant has definitely been a problem for a lot of people. I'm not a big fan of facing it, but, you know, stuff happens. Alright, so he's going to do that. I'm just going to let that... I'll drop a zap on the Musketeer so it doesn't do as much. So what I like to do with the Expo in this deck is I like to start with it defensively. Okay. So since you just did that, now we'll deploy our Expo. Again, playing with the Expo defensively to start off. We'll pump up again because I do have that Expo down, so I don't need to worry about sitting on too much elixir. Let's see. And if he doesn't touch the Expo and he just like goes for my... Like, if he's not going to drop anything, that's fine, because we're just building up elixir constantly. And then my main push is usually the Knight through Musketeer Expo, and then the Valkyrie to deal with any big groups of units. So we'll put the Valkyrie in front. He's going to drop the Musketeer. We'll put the Fire Spirits on the side just in case he drops anything else. And let's get this Expo down once again. The Knight's going to do some damage. Expo's going to target on the cannon. He's going to poison my Expo. Everyone's going to focus on the Expo, which is perfectly fine. So we'll put down our pump. Right there, he's going to come in with the Miner. We'll drop down the Knight. Since he did use his poison, he doesn't have anything to hit my pump now. And we're going to be heading into double elixir. So, where he did just use his poison, I am thinking about dropping my 3 musketeers right here. And now we also have the guards to go with the 3 musketeers. He zaps everything. There's a poison, but the musketeers will still get some pretty decent damage done to the tower. Never mind. That's actually not too bad. Okay, so we'll drop this. We'll drop another elixir pump. Now we're gonna pull the mini P.E.K.K.A. over here. Drop down the zap. He zaps our knight. Fire spirits will go in. Valkyrie is left alone to do some nice damage to the tower. We're gonna go defensive expo right here to start things off, and then I'm gonna get another pump down. So now we have 3 pumps going down. He's getting a real value out of that poison spell right there. We're going to drop down the Knight. We're going to drop down the Valkyrie over here. And then the Musketeers will roll in once this elixir drops a pump. So now he did use that poison, so I'm not too worried. We're going to drop the Zap right there. And this is where it's going to be rough for him. And that's actually going to be a good game. Boom. Getting pumps down, defensive expo, Musketeer push. It's pretty deadly. I know that was also a level 10, but at the same time, let's see, where's card levels at? Our card levels were mostly the same. He has level 2 legendaries, level 8 rares, 10, my zap was a little higher, but I used my zap once, so I don't think that really made a difference. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited for this balance change. I know I'm excited. It's definitely going to change the meta, so excited to see all that. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe for more content. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace out.